I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
The city.
Give me a mic.
That has seen it all. Ain't seen nothing yet. Now, Jason's gone uptown.
There is a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York.
Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Rated R. Starts Friday, July 28th at theaters everywhere.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is once again for Vontae McCrae. Thank you for the PayPal request. He requested a couple movies, including a re-review of this film, which I'm perfectly fine with re-reviewing something. I've reviewed the other Friday the 13th films, all of them. They should still be on the channel. I even reviewed the fan film Never Hike Alone, which I enjoyed. And I enjoyed pretty much all the Friday the 13th stuff, except this movie, which back in the day, even when I first reviewed it, I'm like, I could flip it on, but it's not that good of a movie. It's definitely my least favorite film of the series. And by the way, if you're ever interested in sending a request of pretty much any type of video, you can do it via my PayPal, which the link to that is down below, or you can be part of my Patreon, which has certain tiers, and depending on the tier, you could request a certain type of video. But either way, my Patreon and PayPal links are down below in the info box. But while there are elements I liked in this film, I gotta admit, this film does fucking suck. It does. I mean, maybe because when I first saw it back in the day, I knew what I was getting myself in for, so it wasn't such a sucker punch like when I first saw Halloween 5, Elm Street 5, which I hate more than this. And I liked all the other Friday the 13th films. Like, my favorites, honestly, is Jason Goes to Hell. Yes, I know. I love John D. LeMay. I love the gore. I like the concept. It was interesting compared, they didn't do the exact same thing. I thought it was kind of slickly good flick. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, because I have a copy. Granted, it's like a VHS look, but it's the uncut version of Part 7, The New Blood, so I'm fine with that, and that's a fun one. Then it'd be Part 6, Jason Lives. Another fun one. And then I really like Part 2 with Amy Steele. But yet, like, those would be my favorites. And then that's 4. And then maybe no, if it's a top 5, maybe Part 4 I would put in there. But this one, yeah, it was cool. There was some different locations, like the boat and a teeny bit in the city. I do like the bit where Jason's in Times Square, although it's way too limited and brief. I like a couple of the kills, like the boxing match, and he hits the guy, the head comes flying off. But this movie, it has too many fucking problems for me to be lenient on it anymore. I mean, I still like The Darkest Side of the Night. The song, I know a lot of people don't like it, including my friends, but I like the song. It's not as good as He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask or anything, but I like the song. The darkest side of the night. I do like it. But you know what this film should have been more like? A year later, in 1990, we'd get Maniac Cop 2. That's what this film should have been. If you watch Maniac Cop 2, which is on YouTube for free, you can find it if you type it in and search for a bit. You get crazy stunts, whole films in the city, crazy action sequences, including the undead, Matt Cordell, wiping out cops to bring the Terminator almost to shame. I mean, it's a pretty damn good, crazy movie with some solid actors like Robert Davi and Claudia Trishan and Leo Rossi. Maniac Cop 2 is great. Why could this film not be more like Maniac Cop 2? You can't tell me budget. Maniac Cop 2 came out a year later and was not much of a budget. I wouldn't be surprised if it was cheaper than this movie. And that's why, I look at films like that and it's like, well, you know what? I like pretty much all the Friday the 13th films. This one, though, it was misleading as marketing. I think they should have changed it. And you know what? Changing it, I think, would have helped the film's reputation. Not saying it would still be a good movie, but when you keep promoting and hyping it up as Jason will take over Manhattan, the posters, he's hovering over the city, the teaser is only in New York, the one poster they got rid of, I love New York and Jason, and there's, oh, that's banned poster. They overhyped the idea, people wanted to see that, and then they don't get it, so how do you think they're going to feel? You honestly should have hyped it as the boat movie, Jason on a boat. The teasers, the marketing, and save all the city stuff for a surprise. Like the first time they see Statue of Liberty, and then Jason comes up, that's what they should have done in the marketing. Just my own 2 cents. Not that it would save the film, but I think it would have made people maybe not as disappointed. Granted, there'd still be that question, oh man, why wasn't the whole movie in this? But you know what I mean by hyping a film up as one direction, and then you give the crowd, in a matter, false goods. Or you know what, Paramount should not have been cheap and said, you know what, fuck it, let's go for it. I mean, they were going to get rid of the franchise anyway, and they did. So they should have gone for it. And again, films like Maniac Cop 2 were able to do it on a small budget. Maybe because the director, who's also the writer, so it's entirely his fault, did not know what the fuck he was doing. Rob Hedden, yeah, maybe he's too busy getting head or taking head or doing the head while he's writing the script. What is he, fucking Hugh Jackman, swordfish, like he's typing and while getting a blowjob and you know what? And then his mind's fried, so he's just too busy, thinking with the wrong head. I'm like, this is the head you should have been thinking of, not that head. I mean, what else did the guy do? Some episodes of Friday the 13th, the TV series, and I can't remember any other film he's done. And again, he wrote and directed it, and he did the worst Friday the 13th film. But it just, the characters are not that good, or not that interesting, or not that memorable. I'm not saying Friday the 13th films have been masterfully three-dimensional, but at least they were entertaining in their own way. I like Laura Part Lincoln. I like Amy Steele. I like Tom Matthews. I love John D. LeMay, because I could relate to John D. LeMay and Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, you know what, maybe I could be this type of character, not just because we have glasses, but I did, get away from her, motherfucker, I love John D. LeMay in that, as Steven. Fucking A. But this, why should I give a shit about Jensen Daggett's character? They try to make her interesting because she, when she was a kid, almost got drowned by Jason. And then just basically go, well, how fucking old is she? I thought didn't every film take place like 5 years later? Like from part 1 to part 2, didn't they say it was like 5 years later? At least from part 1 to part 2? So how the fuck is this girl who's in high school, apparently, or college, whatever the fuck, college, I guess, whatever the fuck it is. I guess it's school because, I don't know what the fuck, what age she's supposed to be. Most of the films, 40-year-olds are supposed to be 18. But so she's a kid and Jason's a kid, but Jason's an old fuck and she's still this teen or college How the fuck does... There's so many things in this movie, even for a Friday the 13th film. I know you could say, well, it's Friday the 13th film, Matt. They're not rocket science. I know that. But this is... Even this is going too far. And just this inane, incompetent manner of writing. I'm not saying you need to write an Oscar caliber script for Friday the 13th. Although I wonder what that would look like. But some common sense doesn't have to be against the fucking law. Like, why is it? Let me ask you a couple questions. Why is it that when Jason comes back to life, he finds a hockey mask that has the same fucking mark, as the axe in part 3. And it's piss yellow. So it looked like someone pissed in Jason Voorhees' face. Why is it that these kids, like this little dinky Crystal Lake, they could afford a fucking cruise ship to New York? Fuck, when I was in school, you know what the most we could afford? To go to the movie theater one fucking time. But they were able to afford to go a cruise ship to fucking New York. Plus, it's Crystal Lake. A lake. You know what the fuck a lake is? That's a lake. There's no way to go to the ocean from a lake. What the fuck? Well, unless this big ass cruise ship is going to go through the little rapids that a little fucking raft can barely get through. We're in the lake, but somehow we get to the fucking ocean. Why is it that toxic waste goes through the sewers every night at midnight in New York City? At times I would ask my friend Effrey, does that happen? Does that happen every night in New York City? At midnight, toxic waste just flows through the sewers? Like, are you serious? Fuck, no wonder there's Ninja Turtles and super alligators and other shit. And if that's the case, and fucking chuds and all that. Toxic waste every night at midnight. Are you fucking kidding me? Why is it that Jason, when he gets toxic waste, first off he takes off his mask and then his face looks like one of the putties from Power Rangers. Mud face. And then he turns to a fucking kid and a normal kid. So not only does he turn to a kid, he turns to a normal fucking kid. I mean, I remember, even when I first saw this, I went, they're trying to go for, I'm sure they're trying to go for something where somehow that got his soul out, so he turned back to his original form. Was this fucking Pokemon? What is it, Pokemon or something? Your original form? And then, okay, why does a kid have hair and looks normal? So, fuck me, I guess we all gotta do some toxic waste, because if you get toxic waste, you will look normal. Hey, don't have hair? I guess I need some fucking toxic waste and then I'll have hair. It's like the producers, like the writer-director forgot that Jason was a mongoloid. There's even a fucking scene when the girl is in the water and Jason looks fucked up and bald. So even in the movie, there's one scene, a flashback, and then at the end, the kid looks normal with hair, and it makes you go, well, who the fuck is that? Who's this kid? Wait, that's supposed to be Jason? Why does Jason have hair, and why is he not a mongoloid, and why does he look like a kid that would just be in a TV commercial? Would there be just barrels of toxic waste just in the alleyways of New York? At least that's what it looked like. I understand New York was not the friendliest place in 1989, but I didn't know they just had vats of toxic waste. So then Jason just dumped the asshole, well, he's not really teacher, but whatever, into it. I mean, maybe it wasn't supposed to be toxic waste. I don't know what the fuck it was supposed to be. Is that just litter? Was that litter over New York in 1989? And it doesn't help that none of the characters, they don't have even the fun little banter that Crispin Glover and the other guy had in Friday the 13th Part 4. The computer says you're a dead fuck. The computer don't lie. Like, what lines do you have in this movie that you can remember? And you don't have a strong lead. Like, Jensen Daggett, I'm sorry, is not that strong of a lead character. She doesn't really do much other than when she throws the little bit onto Jason's face and then he takes the mask off and you get this awful makeup. And I'm like, why didn't you just use the makeup from Part 7 of The New Blood? Oh, because John Carl Buechler did it. But you do have the movie. Just watch the movie. Copy it. Jason looked great in that. Why change it? I mean, to me, Part 7 of The New Blood is the best Jason has looked. To me, when I think of Jason, that's the perfect look for Jason. Just use that look. Nope, we're not going to do it. Why? I don't know. The other side characters, what does there even say about them? The boyfriend, nothing to him. The guy with the glasses who gets thrown and electrocuted. The bitchy girl who gets killed with glass. The, what was her name? Kelly Who or Maddie 2 or... I forget her name. I believe she wanted to be in X-Men 2. I forget who it is. But that scene where she dies and Jason picks her up, breaks her neck, throws her... I understand we could joke about how Jason has teleportation powers. But when the movie literally shows that he has teleportation powers, that's another thing entirely. Because even in the back of your head and the other films, even though it's a load of bullshit, you just still go, yeah, well, you know, maybe somehow, some way, he made someone pay. But he somehow did it. He somehow got from point A to point B. But here, literally, she goes here, Jason. Then she goes here, there's Jason. And I'm like, okay, this is literally Nightcrawler from X-Men. Speaking of X-Men. I think it was Kelly Hu, I think is her name. I could be wrong. If I am, I apologize. I mean, the score, I believe it's Fred Mullen who did the score for Part 7, The New Blood. The score here, nothing to it. And you're already missing Harry Manfredini's music. I still like the song Darkest Side of the Night. I still like that song. It's still cool to have Kane Hodder play Jason. He's not doing much to do, but I still like his body movements. Okay, it takes place on a boat, different environment, cool, but because the MPA was really limiting any amount of blood to be shown on the screen, the deaths get affected, and even I like the guitar death. Granted, you don't see blood, but the way it's shot, and you see Jason with the guitar, I like the way that little bit was shot. But then you have like what was it? He gets like a sauna rock and just shoves it to the guy, which is a really poor effect. Which is weird because I remember there's a book I had. I think it was from like 1990 or something. No, it was it was the early 90s. It was a hardcover Fangoria book. It had like Jason and Michael Myers. There's like Fangoria's best horror films or something. I wish I still had that book. Because one of the pictures was a deleted scene from Part 8, where the way that guy originally died was he had darts in his eyes. Okay, that was a cool image, but no, we have this shitty looking sauna rock. You have the glass, you don't see anything, like the one bitchy lady just killed with the glass, you don't see shit. The one girl, neck crack. One guy, Jason pulls down, he gets impaled. Which hell, I thought that worked better than Jason X. A lot of people hate that film. I have fun with it. Because that felt more creative and at least they tried. Like they said Jason was in space. They didn't just have Jason in space for 10 minutes and do nothing. No, he was in space 10 minutes into the movie. Well, I mean, technically it was. And then if that's when you don't want to go in, they didn't lie to you. Jason X did not lie to you unlike this. And that just had more fun with itself, like the sleeping bag, one against the other, and the VR Crystal Lake room. But this, I look at this and I go, there's so many questions. Even when with the boat, the terrorists are getting off the boat, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a lot more characters here. Like, where's the other characters? And then there's some throwaway line like, oh, they didn't make it. So I guess they drowned? We're supposed to believe? But I'm like, okay, that's a waste. This is a slasher film. Let Jason kill. Have one scene where Jason goes to town and he's like, killing this, do this, do this. No? Can't have that. I just drowned off screen. Unless Jason killed him off screen and we don't know it. I don't fucking... And yeah, you have these weird, stupid visions that they put in that Jensen Daggett's character have. The only reason they did this is because the year before, Paramount got its ass kicked by New Line Cinema. Because Friday the 13th Part 7 and Elm Street 4 came out. And Elm Street 4 made about $50 million. I think technically like $49 million. A ton more than Friday the 13th Part 7. And Paramount didn't like that, so I'm sure they're like, hey, throw in some kind of dream or visions or just throw in something. So then Jensen Daggett has these visions. I'm not against a character having weird stuff. Hell, I like Part 7 where the lead girl's telekinetic, but at least that was more fun. And in my opinion, a better actress, a more interesting character, and she was have an actual fight with Jason at the end. Not this fucking bullshit wave of toxic waste every fucking night at midnight. So, okay, positives. I don't mind the guy who plays the boxer guy. I kind of wish he was the lead. If he was the lead and you worked his character a bit better, wrote a bit more for his character, that would have been interesting. That would have been cool and different. But his death scene was cool. His death scene was the best death in the movie. Take your best shot, motherfucker. I keep mentioning I like the song at the end and at the beginning. But again, the score, nothing much to the score. A lot of the kills, either they're not much or not too creative, or they're hampered by MPAA being so restrictive. The characters, even for a Friday the 13th film, they're fairly forgettable. And Jensen Daggett is not that interesting of a lead character that she portrayed. The way Jason dies is both silly and stupid and fucking dumb. And all the shit that I said, a fucking lake, but they get to fucking New York. It still gets me about the... Oh, Jason turns to a boy, and not only that, a normal-looking boy. So if you don't care about the characters, there's only a couple of deaths that are kind of fun. It's limited by the MPAA. At least Friday the 13th Part 7, I have an uncut version I can watch. And then when you watch that, all the deaths are pretty fucking cool. So I like, then I sit here and I go, what is the point of ever rewatching this film again? There's not. And also it misled its audience. It did not nearly go up to its full potential. I think it would have been cool to see Jason, like imagine Jason massacring a whole group of police officers using whatever he can. Imagine going to nightclubs or whatever the case. Hell, you could make the fucking biggest body count in a slasher film. That's what I would do. Delightable characters. Some decent dialogue. Practical gore. Have Jason look better. Get John Beatler to redo it if you need to. Hire him just as an effects guy. And let the buys hit the fucking floor in the city. It's not like we've never had any film where that's happened in the city. Case in point, 1990, the year after this, Maniac Cop 2. That wasn't a $50 million budget film or anything. But even then, this film did not flop. I mean, it was still a low enough budget and it made enough money to make a profit, but Paramount was just so getting sick and tired of this franchise, whether it's because of being fucked with the MPAA, all the hassle they get. I think I was like people putting them down. Another Friday the 13th film, really Paramount? We're releasing more pristine movies. Ha ha ha. But you're a joke. I think Paramount just didn't want to hear it anymore, so like, fuck it, we don't want to do it anymore. And then sooner or later, New Line Cinema got it. Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, I enjoy those movies. Again, if you want to watch my Friday the 13th reviews, they're all still on the channel. Again, it'd be interesting to, if you watch the old Friday the 13th Part 8, because I said like a shitload of problems, but I'm like, flip it on. But it's a bad movie. It does suck. It does suck. It's not a good movie. It's not a good Friday the 13th film. With way misleading advertising, a boring, bland lead character, a set of supporting characters, nothing remotely interesting to them, kills that for the most part are lackluster, an ending that is just ridiculous and completely stupid, and just a lot of incompetency, that's not even a word, incompetent bullshit writing from this guy who also directed it. Like, this is the best you can do? I saw a fan film, Never Hike Alone. That's a fan film that I reviewed on here. And you can see that for free. That's better directed, better written than this. That's pretty fucking sad. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Thank you once again, Vontae McRae. If you're ever interested in supporting the channel or sending a request via my PayPal or Patreon, the links to both are down below. Thank you, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.